This season of Truly Independent is supported by the Help Them See Foundation. Help Them See is a nonprofit dedicated to supporting feature films that inspire faith, hope, and connection. By partnering with filmmakers, the Help Them See Foundation brings meaningful stories to life and shares them with audiences worldwide, making a lasting cultural impact through the power of cinema. Learn more and discover how you can be part of the movement by visiting helpthemseefoundation.org. Welcome to Season 3 of Truly Independent. I'm Garrett Batty alongside my co-host Darren Smith. Each week, we'll go in-depth with guests, industry experts, and we'll even share our own experiences, all with the goal of demystifying the independent film process. This season, it's all about the script, from the first spark of an idea to a polished final draft, breaking it down for scheduling, budgeting, and ultimately shooting. We'll walk through every step it takes to get from page to production. Welcome to Truly Independent.
Garrett. Hey, man.
Darren, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm great. I'm awake. So that's what's important right now.
Yeah, it looks like you took the posters down from your studio and moved a bed into there.
You know, I
Is everything okay at home?
really wanted to go with the New York Times Square hotel vibe with my setup. And so, no, I'm actually in New York in a hotel in Times Square. We're out here doing some fun stuff that we'll talk about today. And we, meaning me and another writer director friend, and yeah, we'll dive into that a little bit.
Oh, good. Well, I cannot wait to hear about that. I love New York City. That's my town.
Yeah.
And yeah, congratulations. I just got back from ICVM, so I was in Orlando last week, and I'm excited to talk to you about that. And we need to follow up on our read-throughs.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about today.
Well, why don't we start with the events? Because I've got, I think if I counted right, 7 events coming up in the next month. And you just got back from a conference or an event. Why don't we start there? Tell everybody what ICVM is, why you decided to go out, and how did it go?
It was amazing. About 400 people at a conference. These are filmmakers and storytellers that are actually doing really amazing things in faith-based film and Christian film.
Yeah.
And so I was invited out there when I was at NRB. They said, "Hey, come out to ICVM. It's amazing." And so the Help Them See Foundation actually was a sponsor at ICVM this
Oh,
year.
wow.
So we were able to set up a table and a booth and talk with people. But more importantly, it was an opportunity for me to get out and meet and see what's happening in faith-based film and sit in some seminars and workshops and just meet a lot of people. And it was wonderful. It was so nice to be able to interact with so many listeners. I had plenty of people that came up and were aware of the podcast and fans of the podcast.
Oh,
And
man.
so it was neat to be able to meet some people, put some faces to the listeners. We screened Alejandro Monteverde's new movie Zero AD that is coming out this December. He's the director of Sound of Freedom and Cabrini. Chatted with him a little bit. Just an incredible film, just amazing, breathtaking film.
Wow.
And chatting with him, you get to see why. He's just an impressive individual, and um, it was a neat experience. So I'm talking a lot. It was a great week, and I now have about 50 new contacts and business cards of people that I need to contact regarding funding and working on this next project.
There you go. So, for those listeners listening, this is not the International Society for Vertebrate Morphology. It's the International Christian Visual Media Association, and you went to their storytellers conference. If I've got it all correct.
That is correct. Yes. It's amazing what you can look up on the
I
internet.
know,
So
I know. I didn't
probably
even
what I
look
should
that
have
one up.
done.
But what you said at the end there, to me, kind of just is why you do these types of events. You have 50 people that you gathered in a weekend, 2 days. Like how long were you out there?
Yeah, Wednesday through Saturday.
Yeah. So 3-4 days and you have 50 people. There's so much leverage when you go to a conference or an event where you know the people you want to talk to are in attendance. Like, how long would it take you to have 50 one-on-one conversations, DMing people on LinkedIn and hopping on a Zoom call? It'd be months. but you did it in a couple of days, and you know that it's not just a spray and pray approach, like based on details in their profile or, a quick search in the LinkedIn search bar. It's like, if they're there, they spent money because they're in this world. And if they're a sponsor, they have a certain angle. If they're an attendee, they have a certain angle. If they're a filmmaker, they have a certain angle. And you can quickly start having conversations right off the bat where you've got this overlap and alignment. And like you said, 50 people to follow up with. That's going to be massive progress over the rest of the year compared to trying to do it one-on-one DMing people.
Darren, what you're saying is exactly right. And it was an amazing opportunity. If there are 3 takeaways or one takeaway, um, I've been trying to get a hold of a few individuals for a long time, specifically Jared Giese, who's head of theatrical at Angel Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know Jared, we have a casual relationship, where we like each other's Facebook posts or whatever, or comment every once in a while. And I'll see him at different premieres or events and shake his hand. Um, but I've been waiting to try to get a sit down with him and talk about different things. And then another individual who was involved with, was kind of a friend of a friend. John Michael Finley is our actor in Faith of Angels, and so John knows this individual. I said, John, how can I get in touch with this particular individual? Both of them happen to be at ICVM, and without much finagling, I was able to sit down, me, Jared, and this other individual, and have a 10-minute conversation about projects that I'm working on. We were complimentary of each other's work. It put that kind of that person behind the text or the casual handshakes, and we now have each other's phone numbers. And it's like, yes, tell me about what we're working on. Let's continue this conversation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of value in these weekend conferences that we accomplished in 10 minutes there what I've been trying to do for 6 months.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I mean, one of the strategies that I use when these events are happening, and I did this with ICVM, is I go to the sponsors and I figure out who's trying to get in front of this audience because they're aligned with what I'm trying to do, which is produce content for this audience. Now, it's a slice of my audience, not the full pie, but still, that there's a ton of alignments you can go through. There's 25 or so sponsors for the event. And then you can go find them on LinkedIn and message them and email them before the conference and say, hey, I'm going to be there. I'm also sponsoring the event. And that right there is like, oh, we're like each other. We are the same. So maybe we should have a conversation. And it's so much easier to start the conversation from that place. Like, hey, I saw you were sponsoring ICVM. So cool. I didn't make it out this year, but would love to connect and have a conversation and see what you learned out there.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Really easy
Well,
to follow up, even though you weren't there.
Yeah. and that's fine. That's I think that they're looking for that. I would love for people to reach out and say, hey, I saw you at Help Them See Foundation at ICVM.
Mhm.
We didn't get a chance to chat, but here's what I'd like to talk about. And that's spend some time and effort to put up the big banner, and
Yeah.
you get your 8-foot standee, hoping that people will reach out later.
Yeah.
And there is. I've got now a week's worth of follow-up. I've built a little Google sheet that with everybody's name and contact and kind of the last conversation that I had with them, saying this is what we talked about, and then my action item of what I'm going to do to follow up with them.
Yeah,
We'll
exactly.
just slowly check that out and move them into, are they going to be involved with this next project, or will they be just a future contact?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. A lot of lessons in there for people. And I mentioned I've got like 6 or 7 events coming up over the next month, more like 3-4 weeks, but it's for the same reason. I'm in New York right now. I'm going to be in LA for the AFI and Austin, or AFI and Newport Beach film festivals, and then heading to Austin for the Austin Film Festival, which I've never been to. And I'm super excited to go to all of these. But instead of just attending and standing in the lobby and hoping that someone with, investment dollars comes up and says, hey, are you Darren with that producer fund one? I'm taking the initiative a month ahead of time to set up events. So I've got lunches at every single one of these festivals. I have one tomorrow. It's more, the one tomorrow in New York is more for my audience, the Craftsman Films people that I've been nurturing over the last year or so. So it's more filmmakers tomorrow, but Today we have an event, and then I've got 3 lunches in LA, one in Newport Beach and one in Beverly Hills, one in Hollywood, while I'm there. And then I'll set up 1 or 2 in Austin. And these are specific investor focused salon style lunches where we're sitting and talking about the opportunity that exists in indie film. And it's pitched that way. The invitation is structured that way. Like, come meet, chat with a bunch of other investors and entertainment professionals about the opportunities in indie film. But because I'm the host, I can invite anybody I want. And so we have tonight, we're actually doing a read through. So we'll talk about read throughs in our kind of next segment. But I've got Broadway producers coming and finance people coming, and people that are circling this industry coming. In LA, I've got a gal from my law firm who invited another entertainment exec that works in distribution in one of the big studios, and like just the second degree connections of who you already know is pretty crazy. If you make it easy for them to say this is going to be a cool event, come and bring a friend, they might do that, and it's pretty awesome. So these are very intentionally meant to be events where I can spend some time with people, like you were talking about, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. And before we get to any sort of formal ask or a pitch, or can I tell you about Producer Fund One? It's like, no, just come to lunch and let's talk about film and let's see if we like each other first. It's the coffee date, when you're courting somebody. And so it's so important to be able to spend time in person with people. And so on top of those events that I'm setting up, I'm also setting up one-on-one meetings with the people that I'm targeting for distribution, for financing, for partnerships, for production, whatever it might be in these areas. So I can say, I'm in town, I've got 2 days. Can you fit me in for 20 minutes on a Thursday at 4:15 p.m.? And they go, yeah, I don't have anything that day. Great. I'm in the building. I'm in the studio a lot. I'm in the building, whatever it is, because I asked, because it was a month out instead of the day before. So going in person, hosting events, being part of events, such a key strategy when you're trying to do big things like raise money for a foundation or an indie film or a film fund. Like, you gotta get out there and you gotta spend time with people. So my buddy, who's the writer director of this project, it's a movie musical, somehow in less than 5 weeks was able to write an entire screenplay along with 14 original songs, and then invited people to a read through where he performed all the songs live without any sheet music in front of him. Like, music for him is like breathing for you and I. Like, he just does it. He's like, yeah, one of the songs I'd never actually played before, I wrote it in the car on the way over.
Oh, I know this individual who you're talking about,
Yeah,
and having worked with him before, I can confirm that he is a genius.
he's a genius. And so we'll do an episode with him when
100%
we're
guy.
ready for this. But he did this event, and it was just for him to be able to say, is it working? And what it ended up being was an enrollment event. And I don't know if we've talked about these on the show before. I know I've talked about them with my filmmaker community when I do these monthly group calls, and I did the retreat. I talked about enrollment creates tension creates enrollment is the phrase that I use. So if you can figure out ways to create tension in your marketing, then you can get more people to enroll in it. So this is essentially him doing some very, very early grassroots marketing and saying, here's the thing I want to make. I'm going to put it in front of a dozen people and see what the reaction is. And the reaction was, I immediately was enrolled. I wrote a post the day after saying, whatever he needs, I'm here to help him get, because this is a movie that needs to be made, and it's one that I hope to be able to have some participation in. And to be fair, we had already been talking about his project for a month. At that point, he had post-it notes on his wall instead of a script. But in a month between the time we had lunch and the time that I went to his reading, he had finished the entire thing and written 14 original songs, which still blows my mind. So from that event, he and I decided to partner up on this project. It's going to go through the fund, and he's got people that are already interested in funding it, and so we're helping those people come in a under a structure that makes more sense for them as investors. But his thought was, well, let's do more of these. It's like, great, where do you want to do them? And first stop was New York. I was like, great, my brother lives there, I get to see him. it seems perfect because it's a musical and he wants to turn it into a Broadway show at some point. Let's go. And like, that was 2 weeks ago. And now we've got 20 people showing up in about 4 hours. Is it? No, 2 hours. My computer hasn't switched over yet to Eastern time. But we got 20 people coming, including Broadway producers and finance people and all the people I was talking about before. And he's going to do the same thing, and we're going to see what happens. And it's so cool. And then we're going to do another one in Utah next week and another one in LA the week after that. And we're doing a little bit of the roadshow to see at this very, very early stage who wants to get enrolled in helping this project come to life. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the read through that you did, and creating tension or interest or early interest. And it obviously drew you to the project. What were some things that were done at this read through? And then I can talk about our read through that we did for Where the Dog Heals.
Yeah, I love this. I want to find something real quick because this is what I shared at my retreat. It's three paragraphs, if it's okay. In the Middle Ages, when lighting a fire from scratch was an arduous process, people often carried about a metal box containing a smoldering cinder, kept alight throughout the day with little bits of kindling. This meant that a man could light a fire with ease wherever he went because he always carried the spark. But our universe is alive with sparks. We have at our fingertips an infinite capacity to light a spark of possibility. Passion rather than fear is the igniting force. Abundance rather than scarcity is the context. So enrollment is the art of lighting a spark of possibility in others and inviting them to step into it freely, not by persuasion, but by authentic invitation. So that's how I see these events. Is that Ross, and I haven't mentioned his name yet, but Ross came and he was carrying a spark. He said, "I've got this little thing, and I want to see if it catches fire in any of you." And the number of people who sent him voice messages as they were driving home, that sent text the next day, that posted about it online, that called him and said, "What do you need to make this? I'm in," was enough for him to within the first preview, the first reading, he got. I mean, if he wants this person to be the lead actor, he's got him. If he got me as a producer and he got funding, from the first time that he sat down and performed it. And there were 15 people in the room. So he brought this spark of possibility and he said, "This is what I have. Who wants to bring more to it and add to this fire?" And it was pretty crazy to watch it in real time unfold and see the flames start to you know, elevate from the ground up. And so that's really what it was. It was him bringing a spark, setting it down, and saying, "What do you guys think of this?"
Okay. Very cool. So that was, well, and the setting of the read through was where?
Sorry, there's probably more detail I should be giving instead of high level stuff. He did it at just like a little venue, not a venue. His wife is involved with the One Voice Children's Choir, and they have a practice space out in Bluffdale, Utah. So he invited us and we went, and there were, like I said, there were only like 15 people there. It was him and a piano and a drop down screen behind him with the script projected on it. It looked like his daughter was scrolling through the script as he was reading through it, so we could all follow along. It was amazing. It was super lo-fi. It didn't cost him anything because they have connection with the space. It was this great little black box area with stadium seating, and we sat for, I mean, if that first one was 3 hours, he's cut it down to closer to two and a half. Since
And he read the roles, like he
he
read
read the entire script
everything
100% himself. No
and sang it.
actors, no, because nobody had even seen it. He was writing a script as he was driving to the venue, and he hadn't had time yet to like sit with an actor and say, "Here's how to perform this song," or "Here's how to
Yeah.
perform this character." So he just did it, and it worked. That's what's
It was very
crazy,
much
is that it worked.
so it was the read through was performance based.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he just logistically, and I'm just curious, is he reading character voices? Like, is he going into character voices?
Nope. No
No.
character voices.
Straight narrator.
There's half the cast, if not more, is Hispanic, and so he's like, I'm not going to. He's like, as much as I have a very fluent and a good Spanish accent, he's like, I'm not going to, have an accent when I'm reading their lines in English. He's like, that wouldn't be right. So he's like, you've got to put the characters in your mind, and you've got to switch between them, and it worked flawlessly. Like
It did work.
there was zero issue with like, I don't get it, or wait, who was that talking? It's like, no, it's very, very clear.
Interesting, because that's one of the issues that I run into with read-throughs, especially cold read, when actors are sitting around in a circle and they are interpreting the character, um, and it's different than what you feel has been written, and it maybe takes the read-through in a direction that is like, oh, that's not how it's going to be in the movie.
Yeah. I wonder, because we talked about this in a previous episode, I wonder if there is a version or a step that could be added to, okay, you're going to invite actors over to this read through. Maybe you record a read through by yourself and send it to them and say, here's what these scenes should feel like. You can put your own spin on it, but at least they have context of like, oh, they're not mad right there, they're confused. Or
Yeah, yeah,
they can just go, oh, I see where Garrett's going with this. Now I can bring myself to it. But it maybe saves, having a dozen conversations with actors. You can just send out a single recording of you, with your iPhone or with an audio recorder
yeah. It is.
going,
Yeah.
here's what the movie is. Here's what I see it as.
Okay, well, that's cool. Okay, so you showed up to the read-through. You got the invite to the read-through. You knew what it was going to be. It was an invite only
Yeah.
to come watch the performance. And Ross read through and sang his magnum opus
Yeah.
that really convinced people and to support it.
Yeah, I mean, he sang the songs when they occurred in the script, So if it turned into a song at that point, he would just start playing the music. It was him and a piano, and he would just start.
Did they record the read-through? Did they record this?
I saw that there was a recorder in the corner. I think it was audio only. I plan on
Yeah,
recording as much of today as I can, at least some of it, to where we have it as an asset. It seems silly to not have have a
right.
recording of it. But there was even one Broadway producer that said, "Hey, I'm flying in Monday morning. I do want to come to this, but in case, is there a recording?" And I was like, no. The answer is always no. If the people say, "Is there a
Yeah,
recording?"
no, because we want
Because
you there.
you want them there in person, but you can always surprise them after and be like, "Hey, by the way, we actually did record this. Sorry we missed you, but check it out." So
It's amazing that those recordings, how helpful they can be to be like, okay, here's recording, and if it works, if you're watching that, and it's a performance-based read-through, suddenly the recording is like, oh, this is, again, showing people what they can't see, helps them get involved with it.
yeah, I mean, if he had sent out a pitch deck or sent out the screenplay or sent out a synopsis, nobody would have enrolled. There's not enough tension created from those documents, unfortunately. Um, and that's a pretty blanket statement. There's certainly people that have, gotten a meeting or sold something because of a pitch deck, but I think the relationship has to be there before you just put a pitch deck in someone's hands. But yeah, it was pretty masterfully put together, and I don't think he was expecting or really had the intention of, I'm going to enroll people from this. But part of what I think I've brought to the table is expanding his possibility to like, hey, if you do more of these, more of this will happen. You just got to be intentional about it. It's like, I think you're right. Because he was doing it more for revisions and as a screenwriter, like, how does it feel and what needs to be
Right.
tweaked? And I'm like, dude, do you realize just you got a producer with a fund and an investor who wants to put up the whole budget for this thing, like, in one night, in your first one? Like, what if you did 5 more? What if you did 3 more? What if, you never know. So let's carry the spark all over the place. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, that seems very valuable.
That's pretty cool.
I'm excited to hear how it goes today.
Me too. So tell me, you had a read through of When the Dog Heals, correct?
Where the Dog Heals, yes, we
Where?
did a read through at my home, and it went very well. We had about 20 actors, local
Oh
actors,
wow.
come from different agencies, and I sent out an initial email, um, invite to a couple of agencies, and they um, sent those around to people that might respond. And I'm always very humbled and grateful that people take their time and show up and participate and they bring their A game. I did call one actor friend, dear friend Joel Bishop,
Nice.
and invited him to come read the principal role because I love his experience. His experience, and I knew it was going to. He could cold read a script because we do sometimes you get into this kind of situation where an actor's cold reading a script and without having a read through for me is there's that balance of like, look, this is not a performance. I want to know how this script is going to be read.
Hmm.
So I try not to prep people. If I'm going to send this script to different actors, I don't want it to be misinterpreted. So it's very helpful to see how an actor is going to interpret that. But at the same time, the risk is, how if they start off on the wrong foot, do you stop the read through? Do you say, wait, that's not the right character? So, and then risk embarrassing the actor or whatever it is. Like,
I
well, you
don't know
told me
why
not to
you
perform.
decided they had a French accent, but that is not the choice that we're looking for
Yeah.
today.
Well, you're not far from, or where it says, like, literally in the mise en scene, this guy is a Puerto Rican, whatever. And the actor goes in a totally different direction or
Oof.
something.
Yeah.
So you got to, we have to balance stuff out like that. But I was very grateful that Joel came over and I was able to chat with him a little about, and um, because this is based on a true story, we had the individual on whom it's based on Zoom with us.
Nice.
So he was able to give a brief overview, of what the story was, and it was very kind of non um, confrontational, just very open interpretation. But here's the story, and here's why it's important to me. And I think a lot of the actors got on board with that. I didn't do a good job of recording it. I recorded the audio,
Mm.
but I would have loved to have recorded the video, and that's one thing that I would do differently. And so, as you're doing these read throughs, get a video recording of it, even if it's just a camera in the corner. Um, there is a lot of value in that, because as we're now pitching this idea to different investors, or people will ask for, hey, just give us like a short video of what this is, or a short, tell us what this is.
Yeah.
And I think a video could be very helpful, especially if people are responding. I mean, we had the right emotions happening at those moments that we wanted. So to be able to show, like, hey, here's an audience that's laughing or crying or responding emotionally to this story, that's what you want. You want to be able to show that. And so I've got to figure out how to now create that.
Yeah, I think about some of the video we captured on Faith of Angels. Like we went up that day and with John into the mine and filmed him in deep in the mine. We're not a mile in, but maybe 1,000 yards or something like that into the mine after scaling some stuff that had fallen down and going, should we be in here? And he's like, he's 75. We're probably fine. But we're in there with our headlamps and two cameras, and then we send that off to John Finley, and it helps enroll him in the movie. And we recorded a video of John Skinner outside of the mine, and that is the ending of the movie in theaters. Like as you're going through the credits, one of the last things you see is John talking about his experience. Like I don't know, I didn't make much of it. I went back, started mowing the lawn. Like we captured that in the development stage. It wasn't even like pre-production yet. So yeah, I think it's essential to get enrollment to have something that people can resonate with. I think in person is number one, video is probably number two, audio's third, written word is fourth. If you're going to order the priority of what you're going to record.
Yeah. Well, and it was, yeah, there's always great things. The whole point of doing a read through is to learn and to, I mean, that maybe not the whole point, but that is a significant point. A significant takeaway is to learn about your story and about your process and what you can do better for the next telling of the story,
Yeah.
whether it's another read through or the table read. You know.
Yeah, I'd be interested if you were to do another one, if you were to invite potential partners, whether it's financial partners or production partners or people like that, to sit in and watch it and go, oh, I get it. I want to be a part of this. How does that help that side of the production?
Yeah, I think that could be doable. And what that would look like, I would think, is more of what Ross has done, where it's a little bit of a staged reading. And I would probably invite 5 key actors or players to read all of the roles
Yeah.
um, in various voices and make it more performance-based read through.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then there's an audience that we're creating that tension, that enrollment.
Yeah.
Say this train is on the tracks, guys. We're getting ready to leave the station. Get on board.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. You never know unless you ask. I wrote this post the other day of like, you can just do stuff. You can just call people. You can just put a dinner or a lunch together and invite people over for things. Like you can just do stuff. And what I've been shocked by as I've been trying to live that principle is who shows up when you ask them. If you just ask, like we have 2 Broadway producers that we've reached out to. These are people who have projects on Broadway right now that are Tony Award winning projects. I've never met him before. Ross never met him before. We're connected on LinkedIn somehow, and I sent him a message and said, "Do you want to come to this?" They said, "That looks awesome. Thanks for thinking of me." Okay, awesome. Broadway producer person that has Tony Award winning musicals under your belt. Like, excited to meet you. You just ask people, and you never know. And like Ross invited one of this gal he's known for a long time, who has some association with the One Voice Children's Choir as well. She came and at the end of the night said, "How much do you need to make this? Because I want to fund this." You're just like,
Yeah,
you can't craft it. People have agency and people have to make their own decisions, but they will never be given the opportunity if you don't invite them.
yeah,
So put together a lunch or put together a live read through or whatever and invite a bunch of people. Like we've got 40 people coming to the next Utah premiere because we just asked everybody. Do you want to come to this? It's going to be cool. Yeah, that sounds cool. Okay, great. See you there.
Darren. It sounds like you're describing the verb produce.
Yes. Thank you. Are you referencing the post that I put out a few weeks
Yeah,
ago?
no,
Uh,
it's good.
I'm
It's good.
glad.
There's truth to it.
I've had
Preach.
I've had 3 people reference that in the way you just did, and it makes me very happy that something I wrote is being referenced at, there was a shift I made in my writing where I was like, I want to write things that people will talk about around the dinner table. And that was the first one. And it's like, oh, it's working. Cool.
Well, good. Well, all right. Well, the best of luck to you on that. I cannot wait to hear how it turns out, or see, depending on what you decide to do as far as shooting goes. Hopefully, you reached out to John Finley. I know he's out there and very connected to the Broadway scene.
Did I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he's not coming. It's like, dude,
Oh,
get a sitter, whatever you got to do. Like, come on.
bring Gus, John.
When a producer calls an actor to come to a thing that is
Well,
movie
I,
related, they should probably come, John.
no, I would. John's a good guy. I'm
John's
sure
a great
he. I'm sure
guy.
he
I
supports
will
you. He's
record
been very
some of it
supportive.
and I will send it to him and he'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good.
Yeah,
Well, fantastic, man. Yeah, let us know how it goes, and I can't wait till next week. We've got a guest that I'm very excited about, and talking about a movie that he will be releasing in theaters coming up. So,
very excited for that. And yeah, where are we at with we? I'm putting myself on the project. I apologize. Where are you at with where the dog heals? What are you at the point where you have the full amount committed? Are you planning shoot dates? Like where are you at with that process?
we are. Let's see, we're not fully funded, but the read through was very, very informative, and so I feel very confident about moving forward.
Nice.
We have plenty of people to talk to. And in fact, this week out at ICVM was very encouraging as far as people that want to support that movie. So this week of follow up will be about that.
Amazing. Well, best of luck. We're both in that, active fundraising mode. It's going to be fun to start getting projects into production and into development. So I'm itching. I know I'm sure you are too. It's been 2 years since I've been on set. It's like, dude, that's too long. I never want to have a 2 year spell again. That's not fun.
Okay, well, let's get you back out there then.
Sounds good, man. All right, take care.
Thanks, Aaron. Good chatting with you. Bye. This season of Truly Independent is supported by the Help Them See Foundation. Help Them See is a nonprofit dedicated to supporting feature films that inspire faith, hope, and connection. By partnering with filmmakers, the Help Them See Foundation brings meaningful stories to life and shares them with audiences worldwide, making a lasting cultural impact through the power of cinema. Learn more and discover how you can be part of the movement by visiting helpthemseefoundation.org. Thanks for joining us. If you are enjoying Truly Independent, please share and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the journey. Today's episode was edited by Michael Bradford and produced by 3 Coin Productions.